up front as far as what's really happening. I'm going to show you a couple of individuals that are doing this, and you can take it wherever you want. I mean, when you think about something like Coke, I mean, look at this. If you really value Coke, you look at Coke as its entire value. At this time, it was 120 billion. About 70 billion is really just the brand. In other words, the whole marketing, the name, the bottle, all of that's worth more than the rest of the company. I mean, think about the gravity of that. I mean, we're talking plants, processing plants, trucks, people, buildings, you know, the whole operation. But yet, Coke is worth, when you really look at it, the brand value alone is worth more than the rest of the company. So the deal is exactly how to do that tonight. So rather than seeing yourself as some faceless, nameless employee working for some large company, you need to see yourself in a rewind. Think of yourself as a brand, an actual living brand that can move from that company to another company. You know, I'm not really sure what to think about that. It makes me want to put a bag over my head. It's so scary. I mean, stuff is scary. It's so real. I mean, there's a few things that caught my attention. You probably saw it too. I mean, think about the number of jobs you're likely to have by the time you're 38. Do you ever remember what it was? 14. 14 different jobs by the time you're 38. So let's talk about 5 ways to develop a personal brand. Okay, first, you want to think about what are your goals? What exactly do you want your brand to be about? Yes, you could be President of the United States. The thing about Obama was that he was the first president to really discover social media and personal branding. And that definitely got him elected. It really was no bigger than thinking we need to make him a brand. We need to turn him into a brand. So they had artists working on artist representations. They had a lot of loud-looking pictures like this. Some have aspects about those brands maybe we don't like, but he was the first to put this in motion. Now, here's a guy called Ted Murphy. He's wacky, crazy, and he goes around talking about blogging and digital media. He's developed kind of a wacky personal brand. Another guy, Drew Bennett. Ben Spark is actually a derivation of his name, Bennett, and his wife's name. He's a photographer mostly, but he also does digital media and again, speeches, conferences. He's developed his own personal brand. Second, develop your image. You really want to think about how you want to be perceived. When we look at this, we basically see a human and digital footprint. On the human footprint, you can have business cards that have your social media, your blog, and all that information. Now, when it comes to digital, things like social networks, avatars that you may have in Second Life, digital relationships from social media, Facebook, MySpace, that type of thing. A blog plays a key role in what we're doing here. All of this comes to play in looking at your image and what your digital footprint really is. Develop what you feel comfortable with. We tend to recommend to our students to use your name because as time goes on, your name as .com will be worth a lot. This is already a huge topic. It is gaining tremendous traction. People are now looking at this because of the economy and employment. They're now thinking more about digital branding. So grab that name now. And Ted provides a few tips here. Design a logo if you're not a designer. Get somebody to do a logo for you if you're not. Don't use clip art. Avoid using a photograph, although he does it, and it's pretty interesting. And then create a logo that works in black and white along with this. He talks about how bad it is, but if you go to his website, which is just ted.me, he's using that logo. Now, he provides a suggestion that's kind of interesting on how it could look different. It isn't exactly him, but a representation of him. So think about how you want to present yourself. Now, Ben Spark, again, not his real name, it's Drew Bennett, developed a more sophisticated level. Anything that allows you to incorporate that brand. Again, what's the point? The point is you're trying to get people to your website to extend your brand's reach and build credibility within the niche that you select. Now, an expert means an expert in your personal interest or your professional interest. Usually students will pull back a little bit when I say that. And they'll say, yeah, but who's going to read it? Who's interested? Hey, look, it doesn't matter how many read it, okay? Let me repeat that. It doesn't matter how many people visit your blog. What matters is, who are they? Now, if you only had 10 people, but they're all capable of giving you a job, you want those 10 people. If you got 1,000 people and none of them can give you a job, who cares? cares, right? So the point is, target the group that you really want to reach, whether it's personal or professional. Number 4, get a blog now. Now when I say blog, usually I get the reaction like, I don't want to sit there and write pages about my thoughts. Well, you know, sometimes it isn't that. Sometimes it's simply calling attention to a really great post. Go watch it. If you think it's good, send it to somebody else. Put it in your blog. Say, hey, I saw this great video. Here's a few things I took from it. Here's a link to it. That's all there is to a blog post. You don't have to like get up in the atmosphere with this. It's really just telling people cool stuff that you found and sharing it with them. But what you'll find over a year or a few months of doing this, not only will you get more knowledgeable, okay, which is great, and that's why we're here to learn stuff, right? So you learn more. Not only will you be more knowledgeable, you'll also develop a fan base of people that like what you do, as long as you're consistent and you're doing good stuff. Number 5, build community. Engage your fans. And remember, the goal is great content that people really want. It's not about selling you, although ultimately that's what you achieve. It's about creating great content that you're respected for and people want to hear more about it. When we look at the future, and obviously I'm, a tiny bit of a futurist simply because of the things I read and the conferences that I attend, I don't know the future. So our slogan or motto in the M program is think out loud. We want the best ideas percolating up to solve this problem. Because we don't even know what this is going to be yet. We already know what people are doing. Remember Clay Shirky? It's all about changing behavior. It's not the technology, it's that people are acting differently. And what they know is they are empowered.